Awesome! Welcome to week 2. I am so pumped for you guys. Super exciting. This week we're gonna actually look at implementing the actual accounts that we need to work with our budgets and also work with what you guys have been learning with Jim Ron, right? So like that 10% rule, you know, eating the apple a day and going through the process over and over and over again so that like you don't just have income, but you actually save some of it. I remember this week I was sitting in economics class and oh my gosh, so much to talk about there, but you know, the teachers like talking about like supply and demand, just stuff that, yeah, whatever. And she's like talking about all these examples, and in every single example, the example like spends all of the money that they have. And I like raised my hand, I'm like, hey, you know, why are you spending like all of your money and or more than all of your money? And she's like, oh, you have to maximize economic output. Look, here's the deal. If you want to build real savings and retirement, like the only way to do that is to save and invest. Like you're not gonna grow your bank account if you don't save anything ever, you know? It's like very simple math. It's like, do you want more money? And then if you do, okay, well, how are you gonna save and invest to get? And then, you know, the better you guys get at investing as you go through this membership site, like that's gonna be the goal. That's gonna be the growth factor that's gonna really crush it for you. But like you can't multiply 0 by 1,000,000 and make a lot of money. Like you have to have stuff to start with, right? And so that's kind of why I'm really excited about this week and these lessons. Now the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through like some of the like best accounts, stuff I found looking literally through probably dozens, hundreds of banks, like trying to figure out what is like probably the best for actually implementing what we learned last week, and also that just like gives you the best return for your money. You know, there's a lot of accounts that pay crap interest rates. You know, they'll pay you, you know, 0.001% like most banks do, and you know, you don't have to live with that. And so we're gonna go through that, and then we're also gonna go through a really cool way sort of increase the amount of money that you can save in your everyday life by leveraging a lot of really powerful tools that I use constantly to get just a lot of money back from everyday shopping, everyday expenses without doing any extra work. So really just some great ways to automatically save and invest and automatically get you a little bit of extra income coming in that you otherwise might not have had, and then you can take that and you can use it to invest. So pretty cool foundational stuff here. I'm very excited to go into it. So with that said, let's get over to the computer and we're gonna start off here setting up your bank accounts, which is super cool. So what I like to do is I'll have sort of like this tab on my browser for banking, and there's some stuff here for a couple of things that are a little bit deeper than what we're gonna get into this week. They're a little bit more involved in like businesses and business assets, and these are like phenomenal tools. South State, I mean, these guys are awesome. I love them. There are a couple of other really great business tools here that we can use, but for right now, I want to focus on the personal side. I want to focus on getting your finances straight, because before you open some kind of business or before you try to you know, save a lot on taxes by using some of the tax information we'll talk about later in the membership site, you've got to have the core, okay? So here's really what I find throughout working, we're trying to figure out what works best with setting up accounts. So the first company that is absolutely amazing is Capital One. Now the key and what you want to look for obviously kind of depends on where you're. Capital One, I'm pretty sure, is like they're all over the place, right? So it's not a big deal, but you want to basically just not pay fees. I think it's absolutely crazy that you can go to a bank and they'll charge you like $5 a month for a checking account. Like that's ridiculous. You should not be paying a bank. And so Capital One's great because like they their accounts, you don't actually pay for anything. It's like totally free. And so this is just like the basic core. You know, you have to have an account. And the goal with, at least for me, like right now I'm in like that 90-10%. And so I'm investing, like you kind of see, I'm transferring money to Webull, Wealthfront. Like I'm investing like almost everything that I have, because that's sort of my focus right now. And it should be your focus, especially if you're younger, like it should all be about investing. But here's the cool thing, even if you aren't gonna have a lot of money in the account, the really important thing here is if you go into the actual account, you know, there are some of these banks I'm gonna show you in a sec, and they don't actually give you like the foundational things that you need to receive money from others, to get a paycheck, to get money into your bank account from direct deposit, no matter where your income comes from. Like you need to have a way to sort of get that money. So what's cool with Capital One is they do this like ridiculously well. You just go into account services and settings. So all you do is click view details right here, and it'll pull up your bank account, your number and the routing number, everything you can need in any situation, and it's all right there, which is super simple, really nice. And then when you open up an account, they'll send you a debit card, and they'll also send you a ton of checks, and if you need any more checks, they'll send you more checks. It's super simple, and it's really flexible because you have, at least if it's checking account, they'll send you the checks, send you the card, and you get anything you need right here, and it's just a really easy way to manage your money, right? Which is super important. Now, if you're working more towards investing, you might only need this one account, especially if you're in like that 90% investing, 10% spending account sort of setup. This might be the only thing you need alongside maybe Wealthfront, which I'll show you in just a sec. But besides that, like that could be it for you. Now, if you're in the other group, right, when you have your budget, and most importantly, you have those different savings groups with different percentage allocations, the biggest thing to do, and what I suggest, is if possible, get your, if you work for yourself, like it's super easy if you have an employer, whatever, like figure out if there's a way for you to split up the income that you get. So maybe ask, can you get 10% here, 10% here, 10% here? Or if you can't, maybe bring all your income into this one account and then split it up 10%, 10%, 10%. And where that money goes is what you want to do is you want to go and open up a bunch of savings accounts. And so Capital One, you can have like, I think 25 accounts. And so that is plenty. You want to have one account for each category of spending, right? So you've got like your spending that you spend on your everyday stuff, and that should be in one account, and the spending that you spend on long-term savings is going to be totally separate, right? That's going to be more brokerage accounts. We're not going to cover brokerage accounts in this week. We're going to have brokerage accounts a little bit later because I want to get you guys set up with the core first. But say, that 10% of spending that you spend on yourself, that you like treat yourself to, that 10% of spending that goes towards saving up for maybe a longer term goal, that'll go probably more towards in a higher interest account, which we'll get to in just a sec. But basically you want to take all of the sections that we mapped out last week, and you want to create one account in one of the two banks we're going to look at today, for each of the sections. So you'll have like your own account for every single like category, so like this is how much money I have to spend on this category. And what you want to do is, we'll talk about cards in a sec. Basically, it's like a way easier to account for your life with cards, with credit cards, if you just pay them off over and over again consistently. Obviously, you guys know like you don't want to get in debt, but also it's really important to build your credit, especially if you're going to do any kind of like leveraged investing ever. It's just a really great idea to build your credit. I'm not gonna go all Dave Ramsey on you and be like, don't have credit. Like, just be responsible, and the way you do that is by having these accounts set up so that you know exactly how much money you have and exactly how much money you have to spend. And basically, here's the deal. So you can do, six transactions a month with the Capital One stuff, and obviously the interest rates on this stuff changes over time. But here's the key: like you have sort of like your card that you use. So it kind of look like, this is the credit card company. This is where you're spending all your money in the everyday world, and you're keeping track in your mind, how much money do I actually have to spend in my bank accounts for each, section of my life, and then you go and you spend that money in the marketplace, and it comes up, and then you have like, this is all the money that you spend on education, all the money spent on food, all the money spent on gas, like everything that you've spent is on, say, like this one card or these two cards or whatever, however you set up your credit cards. And then what you do is you just have a check from each of the different accounts, and you send all of them to the same person. And the bank or the credit card company, like, they don't care if you have different bank accounts sending the money, because they love money. That's all they want is your money. And it does not matter. It's just not important to them. So they will happily take your money no matter how many accounts you send it from. And so that's sort of the idea behind setting up, multiple accounts, is that you can personally keep track of exactly how much you have allocated to each part of your life. And at the same time, you're also making it so that you're not reactively saving. You want to be proactively saving. And the difference comes very simply from the psychology of your investing, right? Most people, they get their money and then they spend everything, and then they're like, oh, I better invest the rest. That's not what we want to do here. We want to be proactive. So we're going to get your money, and then the first thing we're going to do is split it up into, okay, this is going to get invested, this is going to get spent on education, this is going to get spent on me, this is going to spend on groceries and gas. You want to split it up first and then make it work. What's really interesting is looking at this study in, I think it was The Millionaire Next Door. It was really interesting. They talk about what people think it costs to live and how much they say it costs to live in this city. And as people's incomes increased, the amount that they said it costs to live increased right alongside at the same time. And so in reality, like, it's just like lifestyle, it's just habit, and you can really live on any amount of money that you desire. It just all comes down to making it work, and the way you do that is by knowing exactly, okay, look, I gotta get groceries or whatever on, X much money this month, and that's that. And then you leave it at that, and you cap it at that. And if you mess up on the first month, you might have to eat a couple of sandwiches for the last couple of days of the month. But it's really critical that you sort of figure out how to do it, because you've got to stick with the budget. You have to stick with the consistent saving and investing to have that growth, right? So like the discipline from it all comes from you having the set percentages, and then you sort it out at the beginning so that it's done and you're easy and you're golden. So that's the key here, is to have like these accounts so you can follow the plan that we set up last week. Now for stuff where maybe you're saving cash, which is really, really great, and you don't necessarily want to invest it, or maybe you haven't gone through the whole members area, and so like you're still you're going through this coaching program, and so like you're not 100% in investing yet, or you're just getting into investing, and you're not maybe able to multiply your money as much just yet. It's really critical that if you're saving up money for something, especially those medium-term goals of I want to get this new tech product or whatever, this new watch, whatever, doesn't matter. You want to get like a really nice interest rate on that so that your money will grow. Now obviously interest rates change. You guys read the bonds chapter in 9 to noon. It's obviously depends on how the government works, but there's one bank that has historically done really well at paying out interest rates that are very close to the actual treasury yields, which is pretty much what you're gonna get with bank accounts. At the high end, the most you'll get is a treasury yield level interest rate. And so that's the second one I want to share with you. It's called Wealthfront. These guys are insane. Basically, obviously the rates change over time, but they pay I'd say on average probably about 90+% of the actual rate of treasuries, which is really good. So if you've just got cash that you're saving up for something, and you just need it in the future, but you don't really want to actually invest it, or even if I was to invest a small amount like this, actively managing it or putting your attention, your time, your energy, and your focus on it, maybe that's not what you want to do. And so you just put it in something like this, and right now, yeah, rates are kind of down a little bit. Obviously depends sort of on when you're watching this, but these are this is I've never seen any bank have rates higher than Wealthfront. These guys are always on the top. They're sort of like a broker, but the broker kind of sucks. So I just use them and you just open up an account for an individual cash account, and then this is what I use for basically all of my cash savings that I have budgeted out. And if you need multiple of these accounts, you can open multiple, not a big deal, if to follow alongside the blueprint we set up last week. But these guys they're just phenomenal. They work really well. They aren't with Capital One, you get really great features. These guys don't have many features. Basically you can deposit cash and you can withdraw cash, and that's about it. There's you don't get checks, you don't get bank numbers or anything like that. So it's a little bit more limited. I wouldn't use it as a daily driver. But if you've got that cash, you're gonna get a better rate here than you'll get anywhere else. Those are sort of the companies that I absolutely love. They work phenomenally. They both have apps, so you can get the Capital One app and the Wealthfront app, and you get them right here. And then you can check your balances on the go or whatever if you need to do something like that. And that works really well. And basically, that's the foundation. That's the core. Those are the accounts that just work over and over again. That's the foundation. That's what I want to get through in week 2, or in this week, is to really hone in on having the core and the foundation. Because I know a lot of you guys, some of you guys might not even have bank accounts right now. If you don't have bank accounts right now, this is the time to make a bank account, because you can't collect money if you don't have a bank account. Now some of you guys, and just like, it's crazy because like billions of people on this planet don't have access to bank accounts. So like the fact that you like are able to open an account with Wealthfront, or able to open an account with Capital One is insane. Like that is very, 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 very valuable. So many people. And then I know like some of you guys might have like, you know, 6, 7 figures in the bank, 8 figures in the bank, 9 figures in the bank. You have it like in Bank of America or something, and you're getting like insanely bad interest rates on your money, and you're losing potentially, you know, 5 figures every single year by getting poor interest rates versus having something in Wealthfront where they're paying you know, 90% plus of current treasury yields, which is phenomenal at no risk. Remember, you're not risking anything whatsoever. It's a, you know, FDIC insured bank account. And then some of you guys are sort of in the middle, right? You're starting out, you're going through the budgeting, and you're getting ready to implement it. You're implementing it now with these bank accounts and the cards and, you know, checks or whatever. And, you know, you got some money and you're growing it, and you want to start investing and saving in it. And this is like the key for you because you put in the work now to get the system right. And then over the long term, it's gonna save you and make you a ton of money basically effortlessly, you know? It doesn't take any effort to just put cash in accounts. You just leave it there and it just works. And then it doesn't take any effort. I mean, it's a very, very small amount of effort. Maybe it takes you 15 minutes to split up your income into different sectors. But if you do it with actual bank accounts instead of using like a spreadsheet or something, you're gonna totally prevent your ability to like go over. Or if you do go over, you're gonna be like, crap, I went over, I need to change stuff because I overdrafted my checking account and there's no way I can pay for all the stuff I use. And so very, very quickly, you're gonna learn how to follow your budget. You're gonna learn how to, you know, save and invest over and over and over again. And really the key here is withdrawing part of that income that turns into investment capital so you can build real savings and retirements with it. So that's the key, that's the foundation. So those are the accounts that you really want to set up initially. Now what we're gonna do next is we're gonna do a module on credit cards, and then we're gonna move into the information about how to get like just basically free money, which is pretty dope. I'm excited about it. It's gonna be kind of one of my favorite ones to share with you guys because it's just super cool. So I will see you guys in the next module. Congratulations on setting up your personal accounts. That's totally the huge goal here. Definitely make sure, open up whatever you need like today, right now, and get it going so that you can have the tools necessary to, you know, build your wealth. So yeah, cool stuff, guys. Thanks so much. Hope you got a ton of value out of this module, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.